If you stay in student mode, you'll observe a lot. And once you observe a lot, you'll find an interest. And that interest will grow into a passion, into a mission, into a contribution, into a purpose. So if you're in that place where you just don't even know what your interest is, that's great. Explore. You'll be fine. You'll find it.
Hi, everybody. This is Carolina Millan, and welcome to a new podcast episode. And today I'm here with a guest that I truly, truly appreciate. I love this guy, and I am so grateful that he took the time to do this interview with me. This is someone I admire a lot. He's a mentor to me, and I don't know what to say. He's the author of High Performance Habits and the founder of Growth Day, Mr. Brendon Burchard. Brendon, how are you? I'm so happy to be here with you.
I'm so happy to be here, Carolina. I know we've tried to line this up forever, so I'm so excited about it too. And it's great to see you.
It's great to see you too. So first of all, I've already said it, but thank you for your time. I know your schedule is crazy, so this means a lot to me. And I want to make sure that we add tons of value to my audience, especially in Latin America. We're going to be sharing this with subtitles for my audience here. And so the first question I have, and this is a story I've already heard you tell a few times at your events, at the mastermind where I was with you. But I'd love for people to listen to the story from you, which is how you came up with the Live, Love, Matter motto. And, that story of your life, that turning point that, took you where you are today.
Yeah, I love how you described it as a turning point, because that's what it really was. I'm sure everyone watching or listening can relate with the time in their life when all of a sudden something happened and it really shifted how you viewed life and maybe even who you wanted to be and how you were living your life. And for me, that was a car accident. So, the backstory for those who haven't heard it was when I was a young man, I was 19 years old, and I had just been through a breakup with the first woman I ever loved. I thought we were going to get married one day. I mean, we were deeply in love. We went to college together. And then in our first year in college, she went outside the relationship and cheated. And as a young kid, I didn't have the emotional tools to deal with that. And it really broke me. And I became depressed and then suicidal. And then unrelated, a little while later, I got in a car accident. And I will share the story long. I'll keep it short for your show. But in the car accident, these things went through my mind, and I experienced these things that helped me realize that I didn't actually want to die. I was suicidal, but I didn't want to die. I wanted to live, but I just didn't know how. I was brokenhearted, but I still wanted to love. And in the end of the accident, I was able to, eventually when the car rolled several times, I was able to pull myself through the windshield of this car to escape it. And I stood on top of the crumpled hood of this car. And I had all this blood all over my body. And I remember looking down, I felt like I was going to faint or pass out. And I just remember thinking, did I even matter? If this is life's last moments, was there a purpose to this? Was there a reason I was here? And I didn't like the answer to that, because I think I was just a 19-year-old, kind of directionless kid. I never really thought about other people because I was so brokenhearted. And in that experience, that accident, that's what kind of came through for me. And what I learned in reflection after the accident was, wow, when I went through that experience, I felt like I hadn't lived yet. I felt like I hadn't really loved yet. I felt like I hadn't mattered yet. And I had this beautiful moment on the top of the car where I saw some reflection of my blood on the hood of the car and a glint or a sparkle in the blood as it was running off the car. And it made me look up. And there was this big, beautiful moon that night. And I hadn't even seen it. And I felt my first real connection with God. And I felt like instantly when I looked up that I was going to be okay. I felt breath come back in, and I was like, I just looked up and I felt like this gift of life, if you will, this gratitude to be alive. And I felt like, God had reached down and handed me what I later called Life's Golden Ticket, which was one of my first books. And it was like Life's Golden Ticket, which is a metaphor, which was sort of, for me, it felt like God was saying, hey, kid, you're still alive. You can still love. You can still matter. But now the clock is ticking.
Yeah.
And so my greatest gift was that night as second chance. My greatest gift that night was what I just call, mortality motivation, which is, everyone's like, why are you so motivated, Brendon? I'm like, well, because I've almost died before. And once you've thought that you were going to die and you survive, there's a different level in which you perceive life, and you want to live it, and you want to love people, and you want to do something with your life.
Yeah.
And so the other gift I got was those questions of, did I live my life? Did I love? And did I matter? And so I always teach people, please determine or find out what questions might you ask at the end of your life to evaluate whether or not you were happy with your life. I learned my questions were, did I live? Did I love? Did I matter? And so live, love, matter became my personal mantra. And every day I try to do those things. And every night now for 27 years,
Wow.
I go to bed and I ask, did I live today a little bit? Meaning, was I alive and vibrant and present? Did I feel the day? Did I love other people? Was I kind and thoughtful, caring or empathetic? Did I matter? Did I do something with my day? Something that mattered for me or for other people. And that's really guided my life. And that's how I came up with Live, Love, Matter. And it's probably the most meaningful thing to me. And most people know me for that, because on Facebook, there's like 5 million fans on my page for that. And so it kind of became a thing, which I never knew it would,
No, I mean, it's wonderful. And that, what you just said, first of all, thank you for sharing that story. It's very emotional. You talk a lot about, of course, living a purpose-driven life as well. And, sometimes people reach out to me and they're like, oh, I don't know what's my purpose in life, or I don't know what I want to do. Like, what's your advice for people to figure out their purpose and their mission?
Oh, that's a good one. I really believe that there's two ways to explore this topic. First, your purpose is something you should already know is going to shift in definition throughout your life.
Yeah.
A lot of people think, I need to have one purpose. I'm like, you're going to have multiple purposes throughout your life. Just let's start with that. If we can accept that, then life isn't so awful where you wander around all the time. How come I don't have my one thing? I'm like, you're going to have a lot of things. At one stage, it might be your career. Another stage, it might be your family. Another stage, it might be your health. Another stage, it might be your marriage or your relationship. Another stage, it might be something else of service. And so just know that it's going to shift. And so if you're in a moment of transition or you don't know what it is, that's okay. Now, the research is pretty clear about how people claim to have found it. Usually, you're interested in something, right? There was a curiosity. You wanted to explore it. The exploration became a real interest where you started following it, looking at it. You were just kind of very interested in it. So you studied it, you watched it, you observed it, you followed it. That led into a little bit more of a deeper interest called a passion. You're like, wow, I'm passionate about this. I love this thing. I want to do something with this thing. That passion then bled into a sense of mission where you wanted to manifest that thing, build that thing, do that thing, or serve in that way. And then you recognized how that thing that you were doing or passionate about had an impact on other people. And now you felt like you were contributing. And now that sense of contribution and that sense of interest and passion, now people call it, oh, that's a purpose for me. It's almost always that way. But a lot of people, they're like, well, Brendon, I don't even know what I'm interested in. I go, oh, great. Then if you don't know what you're interested in, then your job is to truly explore the world. Your job is to read widely, to follow a lot of people, to study a lot, to travel around your town, to meet lots of mentors, to adventure out into the world more broadly, and something, I promise you, will catch your interest. If you say a student of life and an adventurer of life. If you stay in student mode, you'll observe a lot. And once you observe a lot, you'll find an interest. And that interest will grow into a passion, into a mission, into a contribution, into a purpose. So if you're in that place where you just don't even know what your interest is, that's great. Explore. You'll be fine. You'll find it.
I love that. And that takes me to the next question, because something else I love about you is you're an amazing marketer. Besides being a great motivator, you're so good at marketing. So once people find that purpose, that passion, you also talk a lot about influencer marketing and everything. What's your advice for people to start monetizing that interest, that passion, that mission?
Yeah, well, it just depends on what they want to do, so whatever that purpose or that passion is, for sometimes monetizing, it means get a job in that industry.
True.
Sometimes that means literally go be an assistant. It's for someone already doing that. It means sometimes, become, volunteer in that space. Other times it means, no, I'm going to be an entrepreneur and I'm going to monetize that knowledge or passion. I want to share it with the world, and I want to work with them, whether that's coaching them, training them, teaching them, building a community for them, creating curriculum for a course or something else. I want to create something that adds value to other people, and I'm going to charge money for it. And that, of course, is the whole creator economy or knowledge economy or influencer economy now, where most of us, we say, what am I passionate about? How do I think it can help people? And now I got to package it into some product or service they can buy. And that's just the world of entrepreneurialism. I know lots of people call it, thought leader industry or creator economy, but it's being an entrepreneur. It's saying, I have something that I know can add value. And so let me build it, let me sell it, and let me build a lifestyle and a business from that. And I just encourage people, if you feel that impulse, you already know, do it. You already know. Entrepreneurs already know. You're passionate about it. You're geeking about it. Oh, I want to share this. I want to make money from this. I want to do this each day. You already know. Your job is to follow through.
Take action, massive action.
You already know. That's the thing. I've never had to convince somebody to want to create a course or to become a coach or to make money online or through social media. They already knew it. They had to give themselves genuine permission and be bold enough to try. The thing is, most people will say, well, I'm scared. I'm afraid.
Yeah.
And I go, you're not scared. That's not fear. You're not experiencing fear. No one's chasing you. No one's trying to hurt you. What's happened? That's physical fear. That's real fear. And some people have it. No, you're calling it fear, but the truth is, you're just embarrassed to be seen starting small.
Now, what are some marketing strategies that are working for you today? Because I follow you very closely. You launch low ticket, high ticket. You have like all the funnels. What's working for you today, 2023, that you can share?
Yeah, I think some fundamentals are always there. Number one, I think everybody needs to have an email newsletter, that they're sending an email out every single week that adds value to people's lives.
Yeah.
And that's just the basics. I think that you have to be doing something long form every week. And that long form might be a long form podcast. It might be a long form newsletter. It might be a long form blog post, but it might be a longer live broadcast on YouTube. I don't know, but do something that's longer format, because it will challenge you to communicate more and add more value. So every week, something long form. You take the long form thing, you chop it up, and that becomes your social media, right? You proliferate the long form format. I've been teaching this since 2009, as you know. So it's like, it's still the fundamental. Something long every week, chop it up. That's your social media. It makes your life easier. I think the other element today, as everyone knows, is like go live, and go live way more often. I mean, I tell everybody, if you're just starting in the online space, especially, and you're trying to make money at it, then go live every day, invite people to a live Zoom you're going to do on a Friday, get everybody together on a live Zoom on a Friday, teach them something, add value, and sell your thing. That way you're selling every week. That way you're adding value every week, and you're doing it live. So you're learning to communicate and to express and to take questions and answer questions. And just all of a sudden you get better, and you get better faster. So I think going live more often and making your offer more often, that's very critical. And then the third piece I would say for everybody what's working right now is just high ticket. Everyone's so scared to charge money.
Yep.
And yet the truth is, for your business to grow, for you to have financial freedom for your family, and for you to find your best customers, charge more. And if you never charge more, you'll never meet your best customers. If I never charge more, I would have never met Carolina. This moment wouldn't have happened if I didn't kind of get out of my, for those who don't know, I'm from a small town in Montana originally. I grew up in poverty.
Yeah.
And I didn't really understand, success and personal development and all that stuff until after my car accident. So I was in my 20s before I understood any of this stuff about mindset or goals or habits. And I came from a place, because it was blue collar and it was an old mining town, that money was something we didn't talk about. And money was a scary thing.
Right.
And money was a bad thing. And those rich people, they're so terrible and all that stuff. And so when I got into business, I was scared to charge money. And it wasn't until I allowed myself to do it, because it was so clear that, well, other people do it.
Yeah.
I always tell people, your internal fears about money are not market realities. There's people charging double, triple, and 10 times more than whatever you're charging. And so the market clearly has responded to higher price stuff. You have to ask, what's the value I add here, or I want to add here? So for example, the first time I made a $10,000 offer, I just reverse engineered it. I said, if you ask Brendon, am I worth $10,000? Well, the kid from Montana would go, no. So I asked, well, what value would I have to add to make something $10,000? I did a competitive analysis of what everybody else was offering for $10,000. It's like, oh, they're offering this type of course or coaching program or live event experience. And here's what happens in those courses or those coaching programs or those live experiences. Oh, okay, I can duplicate that. Oh, okay, I can have, So I built a $10,000 offer versus trying to build myself up to believe I'm worth that much. And sometimes the way you realize you're actually worth it, charge for it. Let the customer tell you. And you'll notice most of them don't refund. You'll notice most of them don't cancel. You'll notice they like it. You'll notice they ask for more. And you're like, oh, I guess I can charge this.
Yeah.
And so I think charging something of greater value is important for people because it gives you greater margin, financial freedom, and it levels up your level of service for everybody else who you're charging even less for, because you're learning how to add that much value. And so a lot of people go, well, I don't have anything expensive I charge. I'm like, have something that you charge that is expensive, because it will teach you to be greater at what you do.
I love that. Yes. I love high ticket. Sometimes I do get scared. And actually I watched that pitch you did. I watched the video. It was very hard not to buy. So we're going to talk about that. I may need to ask your team if I can.
Which one was it? What was it? Ultra?
The growth, I think it was at your growth day event. I didn't attend,
okay.
But you sent the video to some of us. You sent it to me.
Okay, the ultra offer.
The ultra offer. I was like,
yeah, I was scared to offer that too. Everyone was like, you must have been so confident. That offer became, to most of the industry's knowledge, it became the highest converting high ticket offers at a live event of all time. And I was nervous about it.
I'm sure you were.
I was nervous about and most people, they just think that one day you won't be nervous about it. I'm like, no, if you care about doing a good job, there'll always be a part of you that worries that you're going to do it right.
Mm.
And of course, I'm like, well, we're coming out of the pandemic. Is this too much to offer? And all these things you can tell yourself to shut yourself down. When you hear those things, because I hear the same things, I just recognize, oh, that's just my worrisome mind. That's not market reality. Market reality, people are out there doing better than most of us think that they are. And so people are making offers, people are buying cars, people are traveling, not everybody, but you have to understand there's that segment that does, and you have to know your customer and go, well, this audience can afford this. Many of them can, not everybody.
Yeah.
I want to do the thing. I'm excited to provide this service. So I'm going to try it. I'm going to go out there. I'm going to give it my best. I'm going to let them know about it and then turn into this big thing. So I really believe that everyone has to get out of their own way. If you want to break through, you have to understand that the thoughts you're having in your head are not market realities. Most of what you believe about money has nothing to do with how people buy stuff out in the real world. So if you can get over yourself and be excited to offer new value to people, and they genuinely see the excitement of the new offer that you have, and they're like, this person really wants to serve me. This person has an awesome offer. I think you'll be surprised. I really think that people who are listening, they'll be surprised. I was, and pleasantly surprised. So,